Okay, ready for karakia? Okay, me karakia tātou. Kia tau te mauri o runga, kia tau te mauri o rāna, pai kere te ture Waihoro, pai kere te ture tangata, e pau arahi i a tātou I tēnei wā, kia tika te whakairo, kia tika te kupu, te hei mauri o rā. Manu tiria, manu tiria, manu werohia, ki te poho o te raka, katou e katou mahi te ruhi, e to e koea. Koea, ko tararo riki, ki mai maui, e hara I te whitu me te waru e. E tau e koea. Koea. Tēnā koutou katoa, nau mai, haere mai. Welcome everybody to August 14th meeting of the Spreydon-Cashmere-Heathcote Community Board. I'll just do some housekeeping at the start. So just a bit of a heads up to everyone, this meeting's being live streamed. So the camera is just behind me up there on the wall, and the microphone is in front of me. I've heard mixed feedback about how good it is. Sometimes it's apparently people can't hear us at all, and so apparently we've also heard people whispering at the back of the room on the recording. So just so you're aware that you're being recorded, but when you do come to the table, just try to speak up as well. I'll start with introductions. So my name's Callum Ward. I'm a board member from Spreydon and board chair, and we'll just go clockwise around the table.
Kia ora koutou, I'm Jonathan Jones, the community board advisor.
I'm Jane Walters, board officer for Banks Peninsula.
Kia ora, Tim Lindley, community board member, Heathcote.
Kia ora koutou, Melanie Coker, I'm the council for Spreydon.
Kia ora everyone, thanks for coming. My name is Waihoro. I'm the other community board member.
Kia ora, welcome and good afternoon. I'm Spreydon, I'm the councillor for Cashmere.
Yep, hi, I'm Emma Page, I'm community governance manager, temporarily here with Waihoro.
Oh yeah, sorry, thanks. Lee and Roy, do you want to introduce yourselves?
Kia ora koutou, Lee Sampson, community board member based in Kashmir.
Yorana, Roy Kennelly, community board member for Spreydon.
Roy. So apologies. We've got an apology from Sarah for early departure. We've got obviously Lee and Roy online, and I'll put an apology in as well for Kia for lateness. So I'm move that. Someone's going to second that. All those in favour? Aye. Against, abstentions carried. Some declarations of interest. So this is a funding meeting. So we've got obviously a lot of elected members who are very involved in the community, which is great. And for that reason, we've just got a few conflicts of interest to manage around those decisions. So I might just read these out just for the sake of speed. But Tim Lindley, you've got a declaration of interest with your Waihoro River Network Group.
Yes.
Roy Kennelly, Suburbs, RFC, Crossover Trust and Rowley Community Centre. So you'll be stepping back from those decisions. Will, yes. Yep. Anything else on that, by the way? If I miss anything, just shout it out.
Hey, sorry, Callum. I'll step away on Kashmir Tennis Club funding for hot shots as well, please.
Yep, sure thing. Thanks for that. So Will, board.
Step back on the Pyramid Bays.
Yep, that's right.
Do you think the Summer Road, or it's debatable?
I think it's fine if you just acknowledge that you're I don't think you have to step back to that one because you're the board representative there. But that's good to acknowledge that you're a member of that committee, that society, and Mel Summit Road Society and Pioneer Basketball. Is there any other interests that we've forgotten about last minute? You can declare later on if you remember anything else that comes up. Confirmation of previous minutes. I'll move that we accept the minutes from 10th of July. Tim Lindley is seconding me. All those in favour? Aye. Against, abstentions carried. Right, that's all the housekeeping. So public forum now. This is the part of the meeting. This is the best part of the meeting. So this is the part of the meeting where the public can come and speak to the board about matters of relevance to the community and to the board. And it's a 5-minute speaking slot, which can be a bit stretchy at times. So first up, we've got Mark and Nadine Banfield who come to speak to us about the safety issues on Beechworth Ave. So yeah, come take a seat. And you've sent through some pictures as well. Cool. Yeah, feel free to just begin.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak of the ongoing safety concerns regarding parking around Beechworth Ave Rose Street corners and to some extent the Beechworth Stanbury Ave corners. We have been prompted to speak on this after a very nasty crash on the corner of Beechworth Ave and Rose Street, Saturday, 12th of July. A young driver trying to turn right out of Beechworth Ave onto Rose Street was hit by an oncoming car carrying a young family travelling down Rose Street towards Beechworth Ave. At the time of the crash, there was a large Ford Ute parked on that corner under the tree, with only a few metres of clearance from the front of the vehicle to the corner. We strongly feel that this was a contributing factor to this crash, as both vehicles lacked visibility of each other. Both cars were written off as a result. For context, the following photos will show the lack of clearance from the corner to the ute on that day and some examples of parking on those corners. As per the NZ Road Code, when not to park, you must not park or stop your vehicle closer than 6 metres to an intersection, the approach side of a pedestrian crossing, or a bus stop marked by a sign. This is a photo of the ute on the day of the crash, as you were approaching the corner from Beechworth Ave. If you take note of the vehicle's position in relation to the power pole in the front tyre and how much the nose of the vehicle is protruding past this point, the nose is almost in line with the speed sign pole. This is the corner the ute was on. It is 8 metres from the corner to the tree. It is 6 metres from the corner to mark the pole. Note the power pole and the 30k speed sign poles in relation to the previous photo of the ute's position. There was not a lot of clear visibility for any driver turning out of Beechworth Ave onto Rose Street, or for any approaching vehicle on Rose Street to even see a vehicle is trying to turn. The next 2 slides provide further examples of this type of common parking on that corner. This is the corner, the opposite corner, where conveniently on the day we have a car parked close to that corner for us to demonstrate. From the corner to mark is 6 metres. This is not uncommon for this corner either, as per the next 2 slides. We moved into the area 25 years ago, and Rose Street was a lovely street with green grass verges, which have now turned to dirt and mud at the Beechworth Ave end. The next 2 slides will show how the street used to look and the current measures residents or council have put in place to prevent further deterioration of these grassed areas. This slide shows a group of dense low grasses having been planted, which could be a possibility for the Rose Street Beechworth Ave corner under the tree to prevent parking in that spot. Our next 2 slides will show the muddy mess these once green grass verges have become over the years. And not only that, after the rain, where is all that mud and silt going to? This last slide shows the view of both corners at each end of Beechworth Ave, the Rose Street end that we have been showing as examples tonight, but it is also not uncommon for the Stanbury Ave end to be congested on the corners, where either trying to make a left or right turn is rather dangerous. Stanbury Ave and Rose Street are common school walking, biking and scooter routes for Summerfield Primary, Christchurch South Intermediate and Cashmere High students. There are a lot of family homes down all 3 streets and the streets running off Rose Street. We'd hate to see any of those corners turn into a shrine due to loss of life or safety measures were easily put in place to prevent such an event. Please advise when we might hear back on our concerns and as to if anything can or will be done Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Yeah, and the presentation was very, very clear as well. That's very helpful to see the images too. So just a bit of good news, I suppose, is that firstly, we followed up just earlier in the week around this, and based on your information that you provided, which you emailed through in advance, and some similar concerns raised by other residents in the school, staff are actually already looking into developing a proposal for no stopping lines, which will involve consulting the wider community as well. So it'll involve letterbox drops and things like that. And we will make sure to keep you involved in that process. So yeah, but if we have any questions from any of the board, Tim? Yeah.
Not so much for you guys, but some time ago we brought up the idea of looking at Garland's Road and what council did with the berms, where they were getting driven on, etc. And that's really solved the problem there. So I was just wondering, staff were going to look at Rose Street with regards to the same work because of the students parking, etc. I was just wondering if could we get that quote up to?
Yeah, I think we could lump that in with that request as well. It's just to look into how long-term solutions for those berms, not just yellow lines potentially as well.
Rose Street, was it?
Yeah, Rose Street. It's a long-standing issue for everyone.
I think it's just the issue that it's grass on the road, and if you've got grass on the road and you've got a car that doesn't park on the grass and parks on the road, then it's going to just a single lane road.
Yeah,
you know, especially on both sides of the road. So, and ongoing issues too with housing going up 2 stories.
Increasing demand.
It's going to parking.
I think they were originally designed because cars were so much smaller.
Yeah.
And actually having cars not parking on the berm was the norm in the past.
Yeah, that's right.
As cars got bigger, they don't like taking as much space.
You have a family more than one car now.
That's right. Thanks so much for your time. Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
Yes. So next up, Marie Fenton come to speak to us about parking issues on Opawa Road, and joined by Nathaniel as well. Welcome back. Yes, begin when you're ready.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to thank the board for giving me this opportunity to make a submission on behalf of all the residents who live in the Opawa Road section bounded by Braeburn Street and Grange Street, and who are directly affected by this ongoing situation. I also acknowledge Nathaniel for facilitating my appearance here. Now, this easement was constructed at the time the motorway was built to allow the residents access to their properties and to facilitate access to the public toilets in the Hillsborough domain. Unfortunately, we now have the collective problem of so many cars that belong to employees from the businesses on the opposite side of Waihoro Road parked nose to tail on both sides of the easement, which is one way. It is now almost impossible during work hours for the residents to be able to use their own driveways as they are entitled to. If any of the residents wish to use a trailer to enter or exit their property between 8 AM and 4:30, then they're out of luck or capable of doing the 20.2. I have some photos here, which unfortunately I wasn't able to submit. Yesterday, I encountered a neighbour trying to back into his driveway. I myself have been unable to get a landscaping delivery because of this. And in many cases, the cars barely make a legal distance from the entrance to the properties. If the occupants of these vehicles are called out for their inconsiderate parking, then we are subject to abuse and told, I'm parking legally, so F off. More than once, a tow truck has been called because of cars parked directly across driveways. Residents are so often unable to reverse out of their own driveways because of the way these people park. One couple make no attempt to enter or exit their driveway, towing their caravan to their own house during work hours, as it just won't fit between the rows of cars. Another resident, I've included some affidavits, cannot bring his work vehicle into the easement if he chooses to come home at lunchtime. He has to park in Grange Street and walk to his house. Again, not acceptable to us. We had a situation where a fire truck was not able to access the house on fire and had to come into the street the wrong way in order to treat the fire. There was also a situation where a man had a severe mental episode threatening a neighbour, and the police truck had to use the exit to gain access. The property at 268, I've also included an
affidavit from the developer is about to be developed, and the drivers are finding it impossible to turn into the building site unless we put the road cones out to give them clear road to turn in. This is going to be an ongoing problem when this site is being developed. I've also spoken to the council drivers who collect the bins. They have said that unless they start in this street at 6 a.m, they have almost an impossible task to empty the bins. They have to exit their trucks at each house to move the bins so they can do their jobs. Not acceptable when these guys are working to a timeline. I've also spoken to the workers who take care of the Hillsborough domain in mowing season. So often they cannot access the park from Power Road and are reduced to using the back entrance on Bishopworth Street, once again not acceptable. Many of these people who park their cars here seem to think that they are parking in their own driveways at home. They open their car doors after their workday and opt to chat to colleagues who also have their car doors open, thereby restricting our legitimate access. They do not take kindly to being spoken about it either. Some walk down the middle of the road, texting or talking on their phones, totally oblivious that they are walking on a road, not a footpath. They also do not react well to the horn being sounded directly behind them.
Good on you.
Oh, I've seen some phones go flying. Yeah. There's a public toilet attached to the Cricket Pavilion in the Hillsborough domain. Before these cars started parking in every part of this easement, this facility was regularly used by truckers on the way from the Littleton port. Now they have no choice but to park in the middle of the easement while they use the facility, thereby blocking the whole road, or in many cases at present, the truckers just aren't even able to use the toilet because the trucks are too wide. In finishing, I'm asking for something concrete being done to alleviate this ongoing problem and for any solution to be enforced by the council. Ideally, timed parking on the motorway side or yellow lines to leave one whole side of the easement free of cars. However, this would still mean that residents and their visitors would be unable to park on the street, as then the workers would all use all available parking on the residential side. I realise it's probably not feasible to issue resident parking only, however, this would be a desired income for us. And lastly, that the section in front of the public toilet in the domain being 10-minute parking at all time to allow them to be used as a publicly owned facility. Thank you for listening, and I hope you realise how frustrated we are with the situation that has been foisted on us because these businesses do not provide any parking for their employees. Our street is no longer an access road for the residents, but has become a free public car park, and we're all completely over it. Thank you very much. I also went to every house in my street and got signatures. Everybody had horror stories about what has been happening. I have an affidavit here from Chris, who will be developing the property at 268, and this is also an affidavit from the man who can't access his own house at lunchtime.
Okay.
We also had a look at the sort of council policy around how to deal with this, and as Marie said, it seems like the starting point is a bit of timed parking, and then when inevitably, probably inevitably it doesn't really work, is then moving into the residential parking. Sort of that is the spaced approach, which I'm sure you all know a little bit about. But I also just wanted to signpost on this that as we have more and more in Christchurch, we have more and more mixed use development where we have residences next to, close to light industrial areas. This is going to be more and more common, these kinds of issues. And while like at the moment when it's more of a one-off thing, this process of us coming in and doing one step at a time makes sense. I think it is worth sort of thinking about when we have these light industrial residence areas that we just come in straight away with residence parking. Thanks for.
Thank you.
I just want to acknowledge the amount of work that's been done as well.
Yeah, thank you, Marie. You made it really, really clear the frustration and the pain that's being felt by the residents
and
there.
The abuse that we get when we point out that this is our street.
Yeah, and you've done absolutely the right thing in terms of coming to the board to to present a problem and I guess to sort of look for solutions together. Like I think that's probably the way that we'd like to approach it as well, is make sure that all the residents are involved in that decision-making process. We don't want to come back to you guys with like a plan without without having a good process around involving residents in that conversation too. So I'm sure we have a few questions. I've got one from Tim.
You mentioned about timed parking on the roadways.
So the residential side.
But the first you mentioned.
Yes,
Yeah,
timed
but
parking.
on the residential side.
On the motorway side, timed parking.
But
Because what those guys are doing, they come in at 8 o'clock in the morning and they stay there until they finish their workday. So, and then, so they also park on the other side. So both sides are full of cars from businesses across the road.
But to change a habit, which they have now. If you put the timed parking, say 2 hours, 6, whatever it is, on the residential side, no worker there for all day can park there. But the residents can still park there. Obviously, it's not ideal, but it's starting to change a habit.
Can I just suggest, I think it's a good idea. I think what we find with these kinds of issues where there's a lot of complexities, that the right place to try and find a solution is not around the board table. But we find a site visit can be quite helpful. So get residents and staff and elected members together on site and kind of do a bit of a walk up and down and talk about different trouble spots or things like that. So if you'd be interested in that, we'd be happy to organise something like that.
Absolutely.
Cool. Awesome.
To do that.
Okay. No, thank you for that. So I think that'll be an action from us is to organise a site visit. And then in terms of the what you presented today, with the petition, there's some process stuff around us receiving petitions. So it'll either be attached to this agenda or potentially to the next one, but it'll make its way into the system, and it won't stop us from acting in the short term anyway. So so we'll attach the affidavits as well to the agenda, so that's public record as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Referring to staff to request a site meeting.
Right, just wanted to ask though, I think this has been raised.
Okay.
And we've run into some troubles because what we're doing.
Is that a walk?
It's, I think it's legally their road still.
Okay.
Can I just say, so we've had correspondence on this before. I've also fought with LTSA, and they just kept telling me it's council problem. And then so that stuff needs sorting out. Okay.
We can deal with that as part of the process as well. We'll get to the bottom of that too. But no, thanks for highlighting that, Sarah.
So just to summarise this, we'll be referring to staff for advice following the site visit. So a site visit and then advice from staff.
Well, let's just get staff advice as a first step, and then we'll look to organising a site visit.
The next board makes a decision, so let's get it.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
It'd be good to know who actually owns part of the road controls.
We'll start with figuring that out. Cool. Okay. So that takes us to the end of public forum. So thank you all. Deputations by appointment. We've had no deputations. Presentation of petitions. We have had obviously a petition as part of public forum, but thank you. I think because of the timing with this agenda, we have to get added to the next agenda. So that's my understanding of the process. Correspondence. So we've had 3 pieces of correspondence. So firstly from Stephen Judd around the Barrington Park paths. Did you want to talk to that, JJ? You've got an update on that one?
Yeah, we have an update on that. This relates to, it goes back to the parks renewal program. So if the board are interested in Barrington Park being on that, this is part of the feedback as Brady spoke to you last time. So if that's what the board would like, then you could add this as part of your.
Is anything going to be bumped to do that?
Jane will just bring up Matthew's slide. I think I have it in red.
I'll need to share it to the other.
Sorry. Do you want me to?
This is the document we've got.
Yeah, question from here. Yeah.
Well, just as a.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
With this one, there's going to obviously be these paths will be used once the Simming Street. These are the paths that link in to Simeon Street from people going to and from Barrington Mall. A lot of them will use this as the way to get to and from Simeon. So I think we should definitely, it would make a lot of sense to raise this as a priority to get dealt with. So I think we get more use in the future. Or hopefully they'll get more use in the future.
So just to clarify, FY26 is locked in. FY27 is.
So they noted that it's a wet park with very high water table. The ground sustained significant damage during the Canterbury earthquakes. While drainage works have been carried out to alleviate the issues, the high water table means that will remain an ongoing challenge to manage the park. Barrington Park is not currently identified as a candidate in the hard surface renewal, as you can see, that was presented to the board from the parks team. However, it could be added to FY27, 28 or 29 program if the board chooses to substitute it for an existing candidate, as you can see up there to answer your question. Tim.
Could we maybe refer this to Stafford based on, because we probably shouldn't do that right now, right?
Yeah.
We need to get, but maybe we could actually get some.
Why does her partner absolutely have it on this person?
Let's refer to some advice. Yeah.
Don't listen to me, Roy.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
With an eye to.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion. Yeah. Next one is next correspondence is from Andrew Wells around the traffic accidents in Stanley Durham Street and the Colombo Durham Street South area. Is this correspondence from you, Mel, that he emailed you?
I just send everything correspondence, so it keeps and it keeps in the public record. So yeah.
Cool. So that one we can just refer to staff for advice as well. And then the illegal parking on Sumner Street. Same treatment, staff advice.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably a candidate for yellow lines like this.
Yeah. Cool. All right. I don't have to move that, do I?
We do.
We do. Oh, sweet. I'll move that. Mel, secondly. All those in favour? Aye. Against, abstentions carried. Okay, so staff reports. Bunyan Street. It's Tony. Oh, Tony is here. She's here. Welcome back, Tony.
So this is a report for a short section of yellow lines at the Bunyan Street, Pond Street intersection.
Cool.
We had 2 submissions on it, which were both initially proposed, but we made a small tweak and liaised with them, and now they're comfortable with the proposals.
Brilliant. I'm happy to move.
Aye.
No seconding. All those in favour? Aye.
Aye.
Against, abstentions carried. Willard Street. This is that one that's tucked in behind Eddington Park.
Yeah, so this is
St. Simeon Park. Sorry.
a narrow road near Eddington School. It's a large development down one end of it now, so we've had a lot of requests for yellow lines to be installed down one side. So yeah, the proposal is for yellow lines down the northwest side, as well as a short section of this section to just address some of the access issues around storm time particularly.
We've done this with Rosemont Street, which is the next one over, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yes,
Rosemont was staggered.
Yeah, but it's the same principle. There's tight little streets. We used to have working people's cottages. Now they've got 4 to 6.
Yeah. Any question from Mel?
I was thinking the same thing. I was wondering why, you know, how it's down one side versus like the staggered thing on some of the streets that we have, which is really easy. But I was just wondering why you've chosen that versus more staggered.
And this location is mainly to do with the road. We would have lost the parking and based on how people are parking currently, they may be parking on the south side already.
Right. Anyone like to move? Mel's moving there. Tim seconding that. All those in favour? Aye. Against, abstentions carried. Thank you so much, Tony. Yes. Thank you. Sean Ward online. If you can hear us, we've got your report up next for the proposed lane names for Worsley's Craycroft.
Yes, I can hear you. Good afternoon, everyone.
Cool. Cool. Did you have anything you'd like to say to this one, Sean? I'm happy to take it as read if you are.
No, I'm happy for you to take it as read. No, there's nothing particularly to add to it. It's relatively straightforward. And mine are lanes heading towards the top end of the development. They had some alternate names, but possibly better saved for the last stage at the top. Yeah.
No, you had a question?
One question in what the Tommy Taylor Lane, I was wondering why this location, is there any particular reason for that? Because it doesn't explain that.
No, and I don't know that they gave us a reason for the location.
And then I've got a comment on the other one, which is probably a stuff question. So with the Stag Lane, like it sounds kind of cool. But yeah, first of all, you shouldn't be seeing any stags because they're yes, that we're trying to and the Summer Road, who hopefully we get funding for, predator free, is trying to kill deer, even though they look lovely. So I have a problem with that name. At first I was thinking a Tarao Maori name would be great, but then I'm thinking about it again. I'm like, I'm not sure we want that, but maybe we do. I don't know. Anyway, it's something for the board to think about. But sort of, on the deer fence out there.
There's a selection of alternative names there which we could.
They all relate to stags.
So we have drunken parties turning up there.
Yeah.
Street sign, right?
Yeah.
We could charge a fee.
Do we have a mover?
I'll move that.
Tim's moving staff recommendation.
Yep.
Paul's going to second that. All those in favour?
No.
Aye. Okay, we've got. Did you want to record? Okay, Tim's against and Melanie is against.
Anyone else? It's just the two.
They're just Stag Lane.
Stag Lane is terrible.
Stag Lane, no.
All right.
Even that half up.
Yeah, well,
the motion's passed. Yeah, but just if you want to record the reason, cool.
And then does it just for Stag Lane?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Sean.
Thanks, guys. So that passed as it is?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Parking lane changes on Selwood and Milton Street. Gemma, I saw you over there. Welcome.
So following the site meeting at the intersection, we took out a plan for consultation. We've received some feedback that was not supportive of the changes. So we had a little look round and we thought that maybe the bus stop on Milton Street would be a good idea. So we undertook some further consultation. The person that submitted against that has recently sold that property, and we didn't hear anything back after we sent out the updates to say that this was coming to the board for decision making from any of the submittals. So that's the plan in front of you. Just another update, we did get some additional coloured surfacing down in front of the garage entrances while the contractor was on site. And the petrol station have come back this week to say they're happy with some traffic calming.
Brilliant. Well done.
Yes, correct.
Cool.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm creating an expectation.
It's not long ago that we were standing at the side of the road.
Yeah, you guys moved quite.
Phenomenal.
I've got a question from Lee and then Tim.
Again, acknowledging this work's been done at pace, so thanks to staff. There was just a question. I understand everybody wasn't happy. One of them was the dairy owner. I just wonder if we had discussed, because there's a potential for one more park where he's got an access to the kind of rear of his property. I'm just wondering if we've traversed the question whether he wanted that to be a loading bay. I've seen kind of similar instances where we've had loading bays that have also been prohibiting access by the owner to the property. So just if that could have a dual, if we've run through that scenario with the dairy owner to see if that's more important for him.
Yeah, so from looking at the original feedback, and we popped in to drop the letter, they did have some concerns around the P30 in that it wasn't being enforced and people were overstaying. So we put the additional P5 that's there would help with loading so that we're getting quicker turnover for the 2 spaces rather than just the 1. The computer shop would have preferred that to have remained the P30, but we've then increased the amount of P30 parking in front of a council-owned site. So they grab an extra 1p30 and hopefully the 2p5s would then be able to be used by the dairy customers and people visiting to deliver goods. But we can monitor it. If it's not working, we can go pop in and have a chat. If needed, then we can ask for voting. So
I think it still might be worth having a conversation with the dairy owner to see what his preference is on that gap between, just to see if he wants to utilise it, just knowing the kind of strains businesses are under. So that could be that could just be a follow-up. I mean, this is obviously this is great. This is a great outcome and a speed.
So so you're not suggesting a change, just requesting an addition that we follow up around that question. Yeah, thanks, Lee.
Do we want that in?
Yeah.
I don't think that needs to be a resolution.
Are you happy to?
I'm happy to follow.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
But do we just put a note of provision that says for you to check it out during detailed design? Can we get pre-approval for that?
It's not, this isn't going through detailed design, it's just, that's what it is,
Yes,
right?
so we'll do the dispatch to get this all in, but we can follow it up with the dairy owner separately, and then a report would need to come back after the elections.
Yeah.
I know some things when we've done some cycleways, we've gone, our staff to, put in some more parking during detailed design or something, and it shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, no, the detailed traffic
Resolutions do come back.
Okay.
So it sounds like maybe we, apologies if it's already in there, but we'd be looking for potentially a 6-month review clause to come back to the board to just talk, and then that can fold in your questions, Lee, around conversations with the businesses around how they're finding it. Yeah.
I can add in an additional resolution.
Which is just come back in 6 months to follow up with the new board about
the board requests a
6-month review
of the changes outlined.
Yeah. Question, Tim?
Review and report back.
The dairy owner did mention about we've done another area, so like there's no parking between say 8:30 and 9:30 and 2:30 and 3:30. We do that on bus lanes all the time. This would be school, both rush hour, technically in the morning. And could we talk to them about that? If we're going to go and talk to them about loading zones, I think the 5-minute parking is better because that's generally what you would do in the dairy area. But I think you get go. I just think that Dave mentioned that in the submission.
Yes.
And so I think it would be only if we're going to go back and talk to them. I say the royal way, of course, that would be something that we should talk to them about.
Yeah, so I did give it consideration through the, I guess, the feedback process. The only thing is that it would be beneficial to remove that park permanently outside of the dairy. Because when you come around the corner and people are trying to pull out, it's very close to the intersection. So I think if we go with this option and see how it's working for them, then we've got the backup option of the loading zone as well.
Yeah, and that was something that John and Amy were both quite concerned about too in the site visit that we did. Yeah,
I'm just conscious that the dairy is really suffering because basically across the road they have a petrol station which is more than a dairy, and this is happening more and more. So in Torrington, the local dairies turned into a vape shop just to survive because they've got to feed the family. And we don't want to see a vape shop, but we've got one. But I'm just conscious that these guys are under pressure. We don't. I know we've got a safety first, which is absolutely right, but we do have to have a bit of compassion for these guys too.
Absolutely,
So,
and I will ask enforcement to patrol this area a little bit more, because the computer store also mentioned that people just like that for that.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can get some better behaviours through enforcement.
Thank you.
Thanks, Regina. All right. Tim's moving.
So confirming that staying what the resolutions are.
That's just the review. That's the only change. Yep.
So we've added in the review.
Yep. So Tim's moving with the addition of that review clause. Anyone want to second that? Mel's going to second that. All those in favour? with enthusiasm. All those in favour? Aye. Against, abstentions carried. Thanks, Jim. Appreciate that. You appreciate your hard work on that, and it's really great to see it happen so quickly. Yeah. What was that? Oh, yeah. Now on to the ECF. What's the time? Do you want a break or do you want to press on? Press on. Okay.
You've been like that all day. She's got something to do.
Okay, so we're starting with the items for which we've had interest declared. That's right, JJ. That's going to be the easiest way to do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Start point.
Sweet. Okay. Alrighty. Is it just? Yeah, staff will come to the table to speak to the funding report. Thank you. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
So there's just one for, I think one person, so we want to put over in it.
Yeah. So we're going to jump around a bit just at the start because we'll deal with the items that the members have had interest in first up. So I think firstly we're going to do. Oh, yep. Yeah, sure. Sorry, floor is yours. My apologies. Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
We'll take the report as read. It's just one amendment that I need to make to the report, and that is application number 38, which is for the City to Sumner Community Patrol. They no longer need the equipment that's been provided through the Computer Council's Computers for Community, so that's now being withdrawn.
Okay.
And as Peter mentioned, we take the report as read. I would like to speak to Spreydon Community Trust. So as just reconsideration of the recommendation of funding to decline Spreydon Community Trust. This is due to the application not meeting the Waihoro Community Board's funding criteria to have an equity and inclusion policy that is specific and reflects rainbow youth and marginalised communities. The organisation, just to give you a bit of an update, the organisation was spoken to regarding the genericness of the equity and inclusion policy, and were offered the opportunity to withdraw the funding application and to work with staff to develop a more specific policy to ensure the required criteria was met. This advice or this offer was declined, with the organisation stating their policy isn't specific but is inclusive of everyone. The offer of staff support will continue to be available to the organisation, but at this time they have chosen to submit the funding application as is with the current equity and inclusion policy.
Thanks, Janelle, that makes sense. Okay. So firstly, sorry everyone, just not remember here. It was Waihoro River Network Group.
I guess just to first thing that with the item withdrawn, that money's back available. So that was
990.
Before you start considering.
Oh yeah,
there's more money.
Can I ask a question on that?
Yeah.
So I guess supposedly, if we were to go with the set recommendation to decline for SYC, would staff recommend that we potentially, recognising there might be some further work to do with that group, that we might want to put that money into DRE with a possibility that that group might come back for something different, and might do a bit more work, make it all as an organisational, and then we might be in a position to work with them, or would staff see that we should be looking to distribute? So what would be the kind of, is it, I mean, obviously we have to make a decision, I would be.
I would say, I mean, like the offer is there and the offer remains there. There is a pot of money that's still currently available through DRE. The initial recommendation for the policy was $9,000. But I guess looking at the funding round and how tight it was for us this year, I would think that the board would consider maybe distributing money where they think it might be well utilised. And there is definitely the offer of the group to still work alongside staff, and there is the DRE funding that will remain available.
Just to add to that though, if you decline the application through SCF, a decline stays a decline. and Spreydon Youth will not be able to come back for the same project to the DRF.
And that was reiterated in communication as well. Once we define they will be unable to come back into the area for the same.
Okay, thanks, that's super clear. So we're, yep, thanks for that, okay. Okay, any other questions in general before we get into the line by line? No? Okay. So beginning with the Apollo River Network Group, and Lee, Tim, you're going to step back for that one. Yep. Tim's going to move that. We were just going to start with the ones we've got interest in, the ones that we find interesting.
The ones are really boring.
The privileges of not running. And do we have a seconder? Tim, sorry. Tim and Will.
Can I say on this one?
Yep.
I guess this is one kind of, I know that this is jumping around a bit, but if I see that requested 25,000, this is a group that if we were thinking that we might have that name closer that we're looking to redistribute, this is one of the groups. No, 9,000 if we were going to.
Plus the 1,000 is 10,000.
Yeah. Certainly this is one that I would think that, perhaps the Powerful and certain Project Easter, there's a couple of others that we might want to look at. So I'm not sure whether we need to do that or.
I bet 20.
No. I'm just, I guess I want to think of it carefully, so just.
Right, rather than just going through line by line.
Well, could we get through it?
Yeah.
And the money that's left over, we can then say to staff, what are your thoughts about redistributing it or holding it or DFR? And then perhaps we review and add to the next meeting. Because at the moment, if we're going to do a Dutch auction,
I think we need to get through it this meeting.
Yes, okay.
But yeah, I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Okay.
So can I just maybe what we'll do before we lock in any emotions, we'll talk through all of them.
Yeah.
We'll come to it. We'll make our adjustments informally, and then we'll formalise that at the end of the motion. So cool.
We'll put that in motion. We'll hold that for now.
Yeah.
So we can. So we have the Excel sheet.
Yeah, it'll track what you've got remaining. So if we won't lock in, but we'll place in 18,000 for now, and you can revisit that.
All right.
That was easy.
Will we be better to put in the changes we want now so we can track them and then we can go back and adjust? Wouldn't it be better?
Do you want to copy and paste the staff recommendation over to the board decision temporarily? Take out Spreydon Youth, take out the Sumner one that's withdrawn, but there's a 0.
Note the others.
Note the others, and then the board can go down and look at ones that they may wish to adjust, and you'll see the figures at the top, if that's acceptable.
Cool. Okay. So, Kia, you've noted that you'd like. Do you have a suggested figure?
20. If we were to.
Yep. Cool. Suburbs RFC. Any questions on that one other than Roy? These are ones that Roy's declared interest for now. So, Suburbs RFC. Happy with that? Happy with supplementation? Great. Crossover Trust. This is one of those ones I think I'd like to see bumped up a bit if possible. Noting they do a lot of work in that area around Spreydon and some of the same schools. So
what two?
An extra 2K maybe, so 55. This one. Yep. Is that right? All right. Rowley Community Centre. No issues from anyone or questions? Anybody? No. Summit Road Society. So Will and Mel have seconded from this one.
Oh, sorry, on Rowley, I did it. 'Cause
Sorry,
I
no.
have to keep scrolling up and down for my thing.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to put that to 40,
Oh, yep, okay.
so that's 3,000.
So that just tracking it mentally, we're at 7K now.
Yeah, I think I've noticed.
Sorry, Kim, was that?
Project.
Project is just making.
Sorry, it's the same page, so I can find it. I had 30, but yeah. You're saying up to 31?
Yeah. We could actually just start from the top and move through them, because we're going to actually go back through and actually move these ones till the numbers are actually,
Yeah, you're right, you're right.
If that's
Every time we have one of these meetings, I feel like we do it in another wrong way.
But let's not change the ones we've just done.
Okay.
But let's not change the ones we've just done.
Yeah, no, that's true, that's true. Okay, let's go from the top, because then at least we're all looking at the same thing. Yeah, okay.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so Jane, are you steering the spreadsheet?
Yeah, I'm driving the spreadsheet.
Okay, cool. We'll start with Christchurch South Community Gardens. Happy with staff recommendation now?
I wanted to just make it 20, just because 19 is lower than previous years. But yeah, that was what I thought when I read through.
I do think that. Yeah, sure.
You can always change it later.
Yeah. South Community Patrol, Christchurch South Community Patrol with staff recommendation. That one, yeah. Heathcote Valley. Any questions, concerns? That one? No. Staff recommendation. Manuka Cottage. With staff recommendation on that one.
Yep.
Red Cliffs Residents Association. Yep. Shoreline Youth. Yep. So the community events around St Mary's Church. Yep.
Very precise.
Yeah.
They don't have any hot dogs in
Yeah. Summit Road Society with conflicts noted. With that. And we've talked about that one. Barrington United Bowling Club. Yep. Red Cliffs Hockey. Yep. Just keep it covered, guys. Cashmere Bowling. Yep. Awesome. Cashmere Tennis Club. Yep. Christchurch South Toy Library. Yep. City to Summer Community Patrol Charitable Trust Incorporated. Club Red Cliffs. Yep. Ferrymead Bays Football Club. Yep. Heathcote Community Sports Club. Yep. Heathcote Cricket Club. Heathcote Valley Community Library. Kedadu Sport and Cultural Club. Kaiwai Rangisahi Trust. Mount Pleasant Pottery Group. Mount Pleasant Sea Scout Group. Mount Pleasant Royal Community Centre and Residents Association. Matua Olympics.
So it's a new one that's come to us for funding. Matua is elderly Pacifica people, so they run an annual event for the Matua Olympics, and it's things like they get pushed around in a wheelchair to see the wins, and just lots of different things that they do, lots of cool games that they have. So they're pioneer.
Awesome.
It is really cool. So Vivi was one of the staff that worked together last year, and Vivi and I will be working alongside the community to bring it to Pioneer again this year. So just to give you an idea of what it is.
That's cool.
You want me to look to compete?
Oh. Jesus, Carl.
Someone's clearly not running it.
Any more British? Pioneer Basketball Club.
Yep.
Still discussed public, Redcliffe's Public Library.
Yep.
Redcliffe's Tennis Club.
Yep.
Rowland, no. Social Service Council of the Diocese of Christchurch.
Yep.
So this one.
I wondered if it should go.
What's your, do you want to talk to that one a little bit, Mel?
I haven't got the matrix in front of me.
Take your time, we are getting
I
through it.
don't need the matrix to tell me why.
This is the city mission and it's their Sydenham community or family community development worker. That works out of the Well Church in Sydenham, and as well as like this cafes and stuff with all sorts of age groups actually. Like one is a mum and pubs at the cafe, and the other one is just an opportunity for community connection that they have weekly. And it's for wages.
So now you wanted to add 2K there?
Yeah, 15.
Okay. I think that takes us to the 9K extra that had allocated now.
And we had 10, remember?
10, okay, Summerfield Residents Association newsletter. Yep. Southern United Hockey Club. Yep. Cool. St Martin's Community Men's Shed. Yep.
Can I just ask that we just round that up to the 1.5, sorry? Just acknowledging the outstanding work happening with 60, 70 members and a thriving organisation.
Yep.
How much did they ask for?
They asked for 1,500 with.
It's $150, so
Yeah, no, that's a fair point, Lee.
Sorry,
thank you.
I was off by 1-0.
Yeah, they do have a huge impact for the amount of money that we give them. We've talked about SYC, so accepting staff recommendation there. Sumner Bay's Union Trust. Sumner Community Residents Association. Te Whare Roku or Te Repo Waltham.
I noted that I had wanted more for them as well, but because we're near that cap, but it is a lesser amount than last time, I think. Is it?
Yeah, we had less for the money. It was pretty much a 10% cut across the board for all of our organisations.
Yeah, so I mean, I'd like to give them a little bit more. Does that mean taking something off on the others? Like, I think they've got an extra 500. You could give them, say, 1,500 and take 1,000 off.
We had the 9, right?
Oh, it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
We could fit a lot in.
If it's been at 10% right across the board off everything, I'd be reluctant to take.
Yeah, let's start with the
Picking rally.
Yeah, this is a
question from Claire.
Which is, I understand that so I guess the Waltham, and I guess this is for some Addington stuff as well, but with Waltham, it was one of the areas that we looked at as part of neighbourhood builder. Could you remind me where we're up to with that in terms of the Waltham space? Because that might be another thing to bear in mind if we're putting money in for that.
Yeah, so Neighbours Aotearoa came to the board for a discretionary response fund for their community we were involved in. I believe she's come through and had a chat to the board. At the moment, they have local community residents alongside Waltham Cottage and other local organisations that have come together to form their little groups. So by way of activation, they're looking, most recently, they're starting to look at having a car boot sale at Waltham Park. So they're looking at ways and they've got a number of ideas to be able to activate Waltham Park, which Waltham Cottage are a part of as well.
But that's a separate pool of funding too. That's the better off.
That is the better off funding, yeah.
No.
I was just thinking in my head and then I wondered why I was thinking that, but I'm going to explain it. So if they
Who's they?
50, so Waltham, it was 52,500, you said to increase it a little bit, but then I was thinking we'll take a little bit off the increase of Rowley, but Rowley only gets 87. So why is there the difference between Rowley 37 and Waltham? Why does Waltham Cottage get more?
Rowley only asked for $40,000.
Right.
I
know that's for more. It'd be interesting to understand the difference.
So Waltham Cottage, from what I understand previously, Waltham Cottage had partly been a part of a Spreydon-Cashmere-Heathcote pool and the Spreydon-Cashmere pool. So there was two different funding streams that they were getting.
Right.
Yeah. So I would say that that would be what the difference is. By way of staffing, off the top of my head, I would say I think that Waltham has slightly more staffing than what Rowley does. There is nobody that works at Rowley that is full-time currently. So by way of operating costs, yeah, but unless I look specifically into it.
Well, to keep it within the cap, I just put that to 53.
Yeah, I was going, that's historical. What do we know about that? Are their needs identical? A bit different.
Their needs would, well, they're both transient community.
Yeah.
With lots of stuff that are happening. So by way of comparing apples and oranges, they are similar in that regard. By way of operating, probably similar. They're generally like a 9 to 3 cottage. I mean, like most of the cottages are, except for Minor Canal, which is now branched out as part of the neighbourhood building project. So there is definitely synergies and similarities between the two, but without further investigating it a little bit more and getting a true understanding, I can't really speak more to that.
I think that would be something that would be good to explore as well, because one of the lessons that this is probably more of a direction for next, for future funding conversations, but that I'll be following closely. Well, I think what the Kilda Addington program showed is that there's a huge impact that can be made by just thinking about it differently. And I think that the cottages we have, they do great services and they've got strong ties to the community. I think but there's also, I think, the Kilda Addington project showed there was also an opportunity out there on the table that maybe we could take advantage of if we were able to, apply that kind of approach of working outside, working hours and then weekends, when people are keen to do that. So that's just so it's not a resolution. I'm sort of derailing conversation really, but that's my thoughts on that.
Do you want to put an extra 500 to make it 53?
So I make it 53.
Yeah.
If so, we're in the
Can I chuck a couple of 2 cents in?
Yeah, go for it, Roy.
Another issue that Waltham will be having, Addington's having, and Rowley is the intensification as well, and that's why that Kia ora Addington starting up, trying to make those connections, especially with the new neighbours that are moving in and the transiency. So I guess those cottages, they need to be open to the community using it outside of 9 to 3, which Manuka Cottage is starting to do well, actually.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents.
In terms of direction, because it's obviously not something that's going to impact our resolution today, because we've got the applications we've got with the criteria that we've got. But in terms of looking at future funding criteria, I think maybe that could be good to have, maybe not the conversation right now, cottages, but flag it for the new.
We'll raise it on income.
Comparing similar services and just what they do that's different. And
I've noted it all down and
we never thought about it before.
We can look at that for incoming board and raise it around.
Like Waihoro House would be another one that comes to mind.
Yeah,
right there.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, no, thanks, I will, what's that, Eddington Farm, Community Garden. Happy with staff recommendation?
Yep.
Yep. Salvation Army. So, do we normally? Sorry.
They slipped off for a couple of years and now they're back.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're activating in the second area as well. Previously it was just the city mission for a bit, and now the Salvation Army have come back again. Initially we had declined funding through them with Central Heathcote because it was around financial literacy, which was more social service provision, but they've now come back with a more community approach. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's the, because what, like, I guess my question is like, what is it that makes this a community approach rather than a service provision? Because it's just, I guess they're sort of talking about providing immediate support to those experiencing food insecurity, financial hardship, social isolation. I suppose that is kind of like, the food banks kind of work that we do at fund as well. But yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily the food bank from memory. I can go and have a look.
Oh no, it's not that, but it's just trying to compare, trying to figure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, that wasn't a very well formulated question. I'm happy to go self-recommendation.
Yeah.
Right. U3A Waihoro. Happy with that. Yep. Waltham out of school hours, community support.
Yep.
Yeah. Westmoreland residents, Westmoreland, and the community picnic.
Can I just talk to that briefly?
Yeah.
Matrix does say that Westmoreland, and we hear this when we go to the meetings, they've got no community facilities in that area, so it takes the strength for the Residents Association to put these events on and even hire in toilets. So I just wondered if we could at least meet them halfway in the gap, because there is a deeper issue here that we have to bridge every time to bring that community together.
Yeah, I mean, we do have the DRF we can draw on for that as well if we wanted to. We can't really go crazy on that because otherwise we'll have nothing left for DRF. But question from Keir.
Because this is something we probably would look at in the DRF as well, or potentially like as the kind of thing that maybe you'd also look at with sort of somewhere with your neighbours or whatever. I mean, could we look at say like, I don't know, 1/8 or 1/9 or something, but maybe just have a look at the end and just see what would bump it up that could be a reasonably, if there's anything left over. Because I'd love to put a bit more in, because I think it is a really big event. It's one of the few summer-wide events they have.
If you put all your figures of what your ideal will be, and we can look at the figures at the end to see what the DRF would look like. And I think Jane's been really kind to put what the carry forward, because you have got a carry forward from DRF money.
Which it's not showing on the screen yet, but I will. I'll make you do.
Can we round that off at 2 and see what we've got?
I think that sounds.
Is that okay, Lee?
We're almost at the end, so
that's good. Perfect.
Body order, Heart and Home, inclusion, support and connection. Yep.
Well, if we've got carry forward.
Oh, who let that one out?
Like they're not very, I guess they're trying to become more well known by what they do, and they actually do that, that they're sort of like a halfway to becoming a community village, maybe. I don't know where on that path they are, but they're moving in that direction and more than they have been. So and they have asked for. So I think even 10,000 would be, they would be fine from my point of view.
Yeah, so from a staffing perspective, they have had a change in staff, and they've got a cottage manager that's come in with a bit more of a drive around being a bit more inclusive and not just fitting one demographic. So the one thing that I really liked about Waihoro House is that they have gone and done their research in the local community. They've gone to the local doctors, they've gone to local community organisations in different spaces and places to try and understand what the need is in the community, and then to provide that service through what they're doing. So that is probably quite different. I've had a bit of a change in the board as well. Yeah, so it's good to see that they're not just running a program that they think is going to work. They're actually going into the community and asking, what is it, using the need.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Good.
Yeah.
I was thinking 10.
Okay.
I agree.
We're also working with St Nicholas Church now as well, and yeah, and they offer things for mums and older people and yes, a lot of people
No, thanks, Mel.
with this. You know.
And Roy agrees with that. Sounds like it.
Yeah.
What was that? Oh, sorry, Heather.
Yes. Excuse me, sorry, just going back to Westmoreland Residents Association. Generally, the criteria for the Strength and Community Fund is that we don't cover the cost of food. So the cost of money there for the 1,500 excludes the $910 for food. In the past, it has been funded, and there is an aspect which says if it's an annual event, that they're actually allowed to come through as part of the event. But I think that was one of the things that we had to look at.
Okay.
I'm still pretty calm, to be honest, based on point there, like the food's not a huge, like it's kind of
It's not the World Food Festival.
Well, and because they don't have like a community centre and they don't have kitchens and stuff, that's not.
They have toilets.
It is a bit more expensive to put that kind of hospitality on.
Yeah.
They, maybe a different place that just run some savouries and oven, they don't have that.
And then Gather Foundation and the community pool. So I think you talked to the community pool for that being with maybe? No, that was the other thing, sorry. They've got recommendations here for decline. Yeah. Did you want to talk to those as well?
So the pool is one of theirs, and obviously she's away too.
Yeah.
But long story short, they're asking for filter replacement, which from my understanding from conversations, is actually a fixed thing. So it would be capital, which isn't something that is covered under street management. Yeah. And Gather Foundation, so I understand Gather Foundation came to the board to discuss the stuff that they're doing in Poon Hay, but they have asked for funding for part of the project that's already been funded through Christchurch City Council through an alternative fund. So it's double dipping in effect. So they can't ask for funding for the same thing.
We don't know the outcome of that other application.
They've received the funding.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah,
Okay,
they've already received funding from another fund within the council for exactly the same part of the project that they came to us with.
Question from Tim and Will.
Just with regards to the summer community pool, do we direct them to the right area of the council because of the pool, we've got pools in the filter? Is that a possibility? Or we can raise?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
In the past, there's been some assistance through that. When the board used to give them $5,000 a year.
Oh, that's certainly
And
that's going to chase
then
that.
there was the deal done with. But this is a new thing to keep the costs really old.
Yeah. We'll take it away as and I'll follow up and see.
Thank you.
Will, did you have a question?
Exactly the same question. Whether directly fulfilled.
Yeah.
Okay.
Psychic.
So where does that leave us, John?
All day. Step ahead.
Okay, so you've got $580,000 in your Strengthening Communities Fund. With the decisions that you've just gone through now, you've allocated $506,657. That leaves $73,583 in your DRF to establish, and we have $44,847 being carried forward. Almost $2,000 of your carry forward is tagged for mainly your community service awards, which is happening next month. So that gives you 73 plus 44 is just over 100 and
132.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's over 100,000.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
Plus the board projects, yeah.
Yeah. So still got 35,000 of staff recommended board projects to come out of that. That's your next item on the agenda.
Well done, everyone. We've shown restraint.
Financial prudence.
Board will be proud of us.
Okay. Unless there's any other questions or any other things to address before we do a motion, I will move that we move the amended.
Can we do the
Oh yeah.
Can we go? If everybody's comfortable with the numbers there, can we just go back to and move them in the blocks of the?
Gotcha. Thank you. Yes.
So if those numbers are all.
Everyone comfortable with that?
Yep. Now we've got the numbers all good. We'll go back to the resolution.
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool.
Okay.
So we started with we had mover Tim Scandrick and seconder Will for the Pauho River Network, now at 20,000.
Yep. So all those in favour? Aye.
We just incorporate all of the amendments into the substantive.
Yeah,
Like,
just do it.
if the mover and seconder of your whole thing are happy, we can just incorporate them all in rather than one by one.
Yeah, and just make the contract.
Yeah, because you can just note abstentions to the individual. Yeah. So we'll move it in block. So, okay. I'll move. Someone's going to second. All those in favour? Aye. Against, abstentions carried. And we'll note the abstentions as per the declarations of interest.
Originate to come back on the 28th of August.
She is in a row.
I was practical, come on.
And just just back at the area for like this.
We are back.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
the area, yeah.
Oh, no.
Just that number of the area transfer will be what?
Yeah, that's fine. That's cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So, and then we've got board projects. So, board projects. Any?
Do you want to go through them individually? Or
Yeah, that could be good just to.
Oh, you want to go through them individually?
Oh,
I'm happy with them. I've read them.
yeah.
They're very straightforward.
Yeah.
I'll move staff recommendation. Right, all those in favour?
Aye.
Against, abstentions carried. Yep.
Boy,
Thank you.
now we're on a roll.
Okay, so DRF. So yeah, first one. First one for the newly established fund.
Catching up here.
That's all right.
All right, so yes, this is group idea, which is coming through to DRF. It's for the machinery discussion.
Kia's moving.
Happy to see.
Sarah seconding. All those in favour? Aye. Against, abstentions carried. And area report.
I'll take the report as read. And
Fair enough.
happy for staff to take any questions if there are any.
Any questions, Kia? Sort of hand up.
So a question, it's the teaching is not here actually, because I guess it's the memo regarding the Colombo Dyers intersection, our favourite bit of infrastructure. I was just interested in reading that it does say that it would be good to have further work done as part of the network on that intersection in the future. I guess I would be keen. I know we've looked at it's it's kind of popped up in different places like around the bus authority along the Cashmere Road and stuff. That would be good to understand when they say further work. What could that look like? Is there anything we need to be advocating? So maybe if that's something that we can just get.
There's the one thing through the chair that keeps coming up, and it does seem now that it's all running, and it does seem kind of surplus, is the speed hump uphill on Dyers Pass. It just seems pointless. So maybe if that's something that
We'll put a request for information.
guess that we've looked at a number of times the Barrington roundabout. So that's it's a safety issue with regards to the young people. So that would be.
Just with the memo around Ashgrove Terrace, there's a lot of information in there, and including discussion about referring to parks as well. And I wonder if that's what the next steps are with that. And I appreciate you're just getting fed on the table this week, so you may not have it right to hand at your fingertips. But yeah, do we want to request some sort of session with staff, or it's not quite clear from that memo what the next steps would be.
Yeah.
They just said there's no funding available, and then there's some indication from parks that they have funding to proceed with some improvements to the car park, and we'll coordinate. So parks are going to coordinate directly with OHRE, and potentially that's sufficient. I don't know, but anyone else have any thoughts on that? Just conscious that it's not good. Yeah,
we need to keep on top of it.
Yeah.
Could we just say this or something maybe? Because it might be good just to go under, and I don't think there's a huge rush on, because it's been, but maybe if interested board members and someone Malcolm from OHRE and someone from parks, we could just, because I find it a bit hard to all in my head.
Yeah.
Even maybe that's.
Well, they did have a meeting at council where elected members and staff and OHRN all gathered, and we looked through a bunch of PowerPoints, which I thought was quite helpful. But I sort of I'm a bit nervous to suggest another meeting without.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think what's the best way to kind of feed that information back.
Yeah,
I mean, like there's not decisions. It's like what's happening.
Can we just
clarify next steps?
Yeah,
clarify next
just
steps.
an update from the staff of that following the meeting that we had.
Yeah.
Rather than taking action, we have for us to put it through as hybrids for a request for further information.
Yeah.
Take it as hybrids.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Sorry, Sarah.
I'm just going on the next.
Yeah.
Just a pickleball. I was really disappointed that we're not discussing this ahead of the annual plan, given that section, because they're talking about like use this space for pickleball courts at the park, but that section behind it is in draft disposal, and if it is disposed, then the pickleball courts will be too close to residential. And we had the potential to stop that section being sold from council because it was red zoned, and now there's no space basically for that, unless we request that the staff put a hold on that section while we discuss it. So it's basically we could put 4 courts there if we chose. We could look at that, but we would need to just get staff to just put a pause on the disposal process for now while the board had a look at, because there's no other site available.
Okay.
And it's a really popular. We were pretty keen to do something.
Okay.
We'll take them as hybrids for further information and come back. So we can feed them through and see if we follow up with stuff. We'll see where we land to next steps.
Yeah, but it would be good, like in the meantime, if we had informal request to staff to just while we're working on that. If they could just not proceed at the moment. That's not a formal decision. It's just a hey, we don't want to lose the opportunity yet. And because the information is kind of later in that process, if you like, because the memo says, the proposed site is included in the draft 25-26 annual plan for potential disposal.
Right.
And it's residential being built on there that would stop the pickleball courts.
Yeah, I mean, could we just sell it with could we sell it with everyone's preferring it?
Or just say that there's an expectation with the plans in place with something, just, or, where maybe we could do 2 pickleball courts and not the 4, because then have to look at pickleball courts.
Can you put them in first and then sell them?
It's a really good site. It had been identified by the community. And if we didn't pick up on the fact that in there, and then the staff report the memo wasn't in time. So if we could just
we'll take that as an action through Hybris.
fine. We can follow them up in Hybris and put them through the Hybris for request for further information and raise concerns. When the memos come out,
I know, I just get 80 a
future,
day.
I know you do. I really appreciate you get lots of emails. But if you can email us back and flag
I just didn't see it. I
at
just
the
didn't see it.
time,
Yeah.
and then we can quickly start following up and saying, hey, that's really great, thanks for the memo, but this part isn't clear. The board would like a little bit more information around this. So we'll put, rather than taking action from that, we'll follow up.
But like the memo came out the 31st of May, and it's only coming to the board meeting now.
The memo should have been sent through.
Yeah. But like, we should have been looking at it in that June meeting, which would have been the time to stop the teaching. But anyway, it was after we had done our submission.
Yeah.
Is it worth asking as well why there's no other area of the park that could accommodate pickleball?
Yeah, it might already be allocated.
I think
it looks like it's full, doesn't it?
It's,
Yeah,
You can see it.
there's been quite a bit of work done on that.
Yeah.
So this is the annual plan already done. So this disposal, we're not stopping that.
Well, we'll find out. Yeah.
I need to I'm playing catch up.
Cool. Any other questions on the area report? No. Okay, I'll move the area report. Linda's going to second me on that. All those in favour? Aye. Against, abstentions carried. Members information exchange. Okay, we'll do one style. Anyone want to start us off?
I'll kick off then.
Yep.
Council staff the other day said to us about a new surface they're looking at to have. We've got that corner on Cashmere Road between the two roundabouts, Cashmere roundabout and Barrington, and they supplied the people in the area supplied a whole lot of photos of accidents on that corner. And yes, you can say every accident's, there's one woman on a phone and a Mercedes that ran into another person. We've just been really lucky that it hasn't involved pedestrians and cyclists. So I'm just wondering, could we talk, or when we have staff coming to us again, that would be a number one place to have that kind of surface, because we've kind of wondered how we can slow speeds around that corner, and in wet and cold conditions it's as slippery as hell. So I think that there would be an absolute starter to use to experiment with that surface there. So I just wondered I've got a sense there's not a whole lot of requests with regards to streets and traffic and all that kind of thing. I've just been almost inundated. I'll get that through, but I think that corner, that could be a really good.
Which corner is it?
It's between, if you're coming from the Cashmere roundabout and going towards the Barrington roundabout, it's that 90-degree corner. It's quite wide, it's deceptively wide.
It's got the wands with the spikes.
Yeah.
And take the inside.
Yeah, and it's just had so many accidents. A lot of them aren't reported, but because of small things, but there's been some real doozies, like cars rolled and everything. So anyway,
thanks, Tom.
I just thought
Sounds good idea.
There is a risk that if it's a nice groomy surface, cars might choose to go faster.
Staff told us that you can accelerate really well off that material. So
but if we don't tell people that,
yeah, but they'll figure that out.
Yeah, true. Well, we'll just let them crash. I mean, the fact of the matter is, there's no other option, because staff have looked at it. We can't put speed bumps and we can't do anything. We have a whole lot of idiots in cars and bikes, etc. So what do we do? The fact of the matter is, let's try something, and if it doesn't work,
thanks, Tim.
Make it slippery.
Anyone else?
Yeah.
Sarah?
There's a few bits and piece issues, the Nayland Street stuff on Emma and you and too. There's been issues with, the rock form for parking, those kind of things. Some incredibly frustrating stuff going on behind the scenes there. But it looks like it's going to be the contract was supposed to do last week, which is great. So we should it turns out the assessment was done 2 years ago to save the safety. But apart from that, and a few other little bits and pieces, this is probably the last community board meeting I'm going to attend in person.
Oh, right.
Because both the service awards and the next board meeting and stuff, debates. I've been on one, my first debate tonight. And so I've been sitting in this boardroom or the other one for 12 years now.
Wow.
It's kind of sad.
This
So no matter what happens,
Yeah.
I won't be on a community board next term, and that's the first time in 12 years. So
Wow.
whole post-debate stuff I'm getting through.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
everything you've done.
And this is the boardroom I started.
Oh,
True.
So even though we're here temporary.
You're very relaxed gearing up for a debate later on.
I talked to Yanni on the way across, you know.
Yeah.
But he's at my next- No, it was my, you know, thing in this boardroom again, you know, the first debate's time.
So you're looking very relaxed.
I haven't done any. We'll see how it goes. You'll do better than.
Oh, look, Sarah, that's, yeah, oh, sorry, I was kind of preparing for a bit of a valedictory later, you know, at a later meeting from you, so yeah.
Yeah, I just don't think I can get in person, like I'll probably join online to the next one.
Yeah.
But just not in person and.
Cool, okay, so you will be with us in a
Yeah,
sense?
yeah. The next debate is like until, on the 28th, isn't until 7, but it's like, okay, cashier and stuff like that. So.
Okay. Well, I'll hold my parting comments then until, yeah. Okay, thanks, Sarah.
It's going to be different.
Yeah. Any other items for the Community Exchange?
I've got this fun one.
Okay.
Sarah might want to be involved in this. Either way, but yeah, so Battle of the Bays, I thought it was time that we've seen it. And so
Looks good.
we're fundraising for the 2 school PTAs, Redcliffs and Sumner, and we're going to choose some chosen charities too. But yeah, it was time for Redcliffs to step up to Sumner. Sumner keep owning everything out in the bays. Time Redcliffs had a go. And so we're having a football game on the 29th of November. So
yeah,
I'll let you all know close to the time, and we can come and have a fun old afternoon.
Yeah.
Get the community going. Oh, I might come off the bench.
Look an invite through my new office.
Oh, hopefully, all the work's been done by that stage, right?
Thanks, Will.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll leave it there. Thanks, everyone. We'll do closing time together.
Sukuna, te wairoa, kia rere, te kaumata, ko te matatika, te mata ono, hei araki, ngā mahi, ka arotahi, te tira, ki ai ke pānuku, ki ai ke tangaroa. Haumie, huie, tai. Te Roy.
It's so much more work than it used to be.
Yes.